Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here and you're a returning visitor, thank you for coming back and spending a little bit of your day with me. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world in this moment. Welcome back to the third episode of Wellness Through and Through. This is just a series that I am making for my own personal experimentation and adventure, I guess, into health. I'm looking at everything from exercise to meditation to sleep to vision boarding, which is what we'll be talking about today. So I'm basically just documenting my experiences and doing different things each week to try and improve my health. I'm doing things like I've already done Pilates, which you guys will have watched. I did that for 8 weeks. I'm still doing it. I love it. It is one of the best things I've ever tried. This week I'll be talking about vision boarding. I'll be talking about a little bit about meditation today as well, but it will be just more focused on the visualization of things. I'll be talking about reading. I'll be talking about running, walking 10,000 steps a day. I am currently working on a sleep video. I'm trying to get myself into 8 hours of sleep a night, which is really difficult for a person like me who is literally awake always. So yeah, today we'll be talking about vision boarding. We'll hop straight into it. I guess this part of this video isn't really a exploration style the way that Pilates was, in that I heard about it and tried it for the purpose of this series. This video, vision boarding, is something that I've done and that I know works because of things like law of attraction and all that sort of stuff. So I guess I'll break it down into 3 sections. Part 1 will be like how I vision board, what I get into the mood. Part 2 will be how I got into it. So I'll just be chatting to you about what got me into it, my own history with vision boarding, how I sort of came about it, and what I've found so far with it. And the final part is why I believe it works. I'm sure I will not be the first person to mention vision boarding in your life. Like, I'm sure everyone watching this video, whether it be one person, whether it be 1,000 people, will have heard of vision boarding in some way, shape or form. So without further ado, let's hop straight in. I actually will overlay a little bit of me making the vision board that I'm going to show you in this video. Part 1, how do I vision board? So I go through a very specific step process of how I vision board. And the first step in the process is, after every year, the first step in the process is I'll make a yearly list of resolutions, and I like to do it. So I started it in 2020, where I was like 100 things that I'm going to do in 2020. And then I did 101 things that I'm going to do in 2021, 122 things, etc., etc., etc. And it sort of was just a bit of fun for me when I started. I think I'm not so caught up in, doing exactly getting 100 things done. It's more of like, these are the things that I think are possible for me to do this year. Let's see if I can do as many of them as I can. And another thing that I want to note with this is, I think you need to obviously do reasonable ones that are like motivational and get you going, and that are possible for work, life, exercise, whatever you want to relate it to. And then you also need to do fun ones, in my perspective, because then it's like you can tick something off that's easy and quick and fun, and it doesn't make you feel shit when you're not ticking something off. Because I think for me, I love lists, I love routines, I love ticking things off and getting things done. And if I'm not ticking something off like frequently, I get really down on myself, then I procrastinate, and then that leads me to not doing anything else ever again. There's a bee on my window, I'm so sorry. So I just think, to stop myself getting into that rut of feeling shit, I put fun things on there as well, which is like on my last year, in my list from last year, I put like go to 5 museum exhibits, go to more live shows, do this, do that. And it's just like, when you're adding fun things to something, it sort of increases your will to do it. Because if it's like something super hard, like run a marathon, you know, like you're not just going to simply get up one day and be like, all right, I'm going to run a marathon. You need to do things supplementary, like that help to get there, right? So giving yourself small goals that are also fun will help you run the marathon of the year and life. And that's how I start. So I normally start with, my list of yearly resolutions. So next year will be 103 things I'm going to do in 2023. From that list of goals or resolutions, I will then go into my Pinterest and Tumblr and make my own little personal board for that year and just put things that relate to those goals into the board. I personally think that Pinterest is a manifestation app, just saying, but that's what I start to do. And then I will get the board to like 100 pictures or something, and then I will copy and paste those pictures onto a Word document, print out the Word document, and then get a massive piece of paper from wherever you get stationery. I get mine from Officeworks in Australia, and cut them out and paste them onto the piece of paper, because then it's like a visual tool that you can look at, that you know what all the different pictures remind you of on the list, right? Because you're not going to memorize 100 things, in my case, on a list to do in a whole year. You're going to want to have, you know, something to look back to. So then what do I do? So then I sort of break it down into seasonal or monthly goals, and that's where this book comes in. So the vision board that you guys will be seeing is my summer 2022 to 2023 vision board. This book, I started using this book in, I think, 2019 when I came home from Europe. So I literally started making mini vision boards in this book. I'll go to one of the pages. So like this is one of the pages where it's like travel more, and I've got like to Japan, a couple of photos, like a little map, and then a bucket list of all the things that I want to do when I go to Japan. Then I've got one for Scandinavia as well. Haven't done this. This one is hopefully next. If not, I'll definitely be back in Europe next year anyway. And then I'll hop to like this one. I've got like a page of all the books that I have ever wanted to read. I've got them here, and then as I read them, I tick them off. Obviously not every book I read comes from that list, but it's another thing. I've got what my future house will look like, hopefully, or what I'd like it to look like. It's important, I think, to be specific with these things. And then sometimes I'll write a list, like, so this one's 2020 achieve resolutions. So I'll go through and break down the goal. So like I had read 12 books, and then I would just write a book every time I'd read one. All right, now, other times, like when I'm doing a seasonal, sorry, this part is literally all over the place, but when I'm doing a seasonal vision board, I'll show you one of those. I've only started doing that recently. So 2021, this is good. So this is my January 2021 vision board. I have the little date of what signifies when it is, and then I've got all of these things like quotes, you know, like there's a girl doing yoga, there's a pizza, there's a beach picnic, and there's all affirmations as well around it. So it says like, do what feels right, be kind to yourself, the fear of looking stupid is holding you back. So I'll do this, and then this one's February as well. I always put the sun card on my vision boards because I would love for the sun to be my life. I'll fast forward a little bit. So, here. So this particular page, what I will do is I will do heaps of things, or I'll make the vision board and then do things so that my Instagram feed will look like the vision board, because I think that is also really important. Like, I know not everything is for sharing. Like, you don't have to do things just for the point of sharing it. But I'm like, okay, cool. Like, if I want my life to look how these vision boards look, I have to actively do things to visualize that, right? And make that a visual reality. So I will, you know, I've got flowers here, I'll go and buy the flowers because then they're in my life and I can visualize it and it's a real thing that I'm touching and it's tangible. I will, you know, there's spaghetti on here, I'll make spaghetti, take a photo, looks great. I will go out for lunch with my friends, take a photo of the food, chuck it on Instagram, looks good. Flowers, plants, quotes, etc. I will do things on the vision boards, like especially the simple ones, it's so easy, and then it sort of helps you build up to the next bit. Anyway, so then once I make these monthly or seasonal vision boards, I then will take small snippets of those, glue them into my journal, and then script out what I want in the past tense, which I think is a huge thing that people talk about. I'm not really too sure about the ins and outs of that, but I will, script it out in the past tense. So instead of saying I will do 10 push-ups by the end of the day, it will be like I did 10 push-ups today, or, you know, that sort of thing. After journaling, I often will sit down, and if I'm meditating and I want to meditate to manifest something or meditate to think about the future and feel good, I will put the big vision board or the small one in front of me and meditate, and then I'll be just staring at that the whole time, which like sounds crazy, but I'll just be staring at that, and then when I close my eyes I can visualize everything and affirm to myself what I want to do, XYZ. So that's how I do vision boards. I'll show you the one that I made recently for this video. The summer one. Right. So it's got, you know, like an array of quotes on here that I really love, like romanticize your life, I am my own muse, etc. Got the sun card from the tarot as usual. I've got some spiritual stuff, you know, the way that I would like my body to look by the end of the summer, and just, you know, a few other things on here that I really love. I've got some money manifestation here, some flowers, again, drinks, which I can easily do with my friends, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, so later on when I go to journal, I'll have that open, or I will meditate with it open, and it just helps you visualize things in a more tangible way. If you're seeing something, you can visualize it easier, obviously, and then strive towards it. So part 2, how did I get into vision boarding? It's a really simple thing. I always have loved collages ever since I was little. I loved collaging. I loved the idea of cutting something out, sticking it down and looking at it. Like, I guess I was just like a super spiritual child without realizing that that's what it was. And yeah, my mum would get me like Total Girl or like whatever the magazines were back in the day. And after I'd read them from literally cover to cover, I would go through and cut them out and cut all the things that I loved out, and then put them into like my little own scrapbook of vision boards, which I didn't even know what that was back then, but that's what I would do. I'd have my own little vision board of all the cool shit that I never was able to have, but it was like nice and fun to sort of think about it, right? And then as I sort of got older, I think I grew out of it and thought it was like not cool to do it anymore, and so I sort of stopped doing that, and I started writing things, like, which is how I like got into journaling eventually. But I would like, if I had a thought that was like a bit poetic or like a quote vibe, I would write it down my notes or like put it in my phone or whatever. And then, yeah, I guess I just have always been into it. And then a few years ago, I saw a video by Amber Scholl, huge YouTuber, I love her. She's such a light on this earth, and she was a video about her own vision board and like what she'd put on it from the previous year and what she'd achieved from it. And she was so open about what she had and hadn't achieved and what she was going to carry over to the following year. And yeah, I was just so inspired to get back into it, and I think that's actually what got me back into this. I might actually have the original one from that day, because I think I sort of just knew, hold on, where are you? Yeah, I saw her make one, and then I was like, fuck it, like, I'm gonna make one. Like, I was inspired. I did exactly what she did. She just got pictures of the things that she wanted to achieve, and that's basically how I started doing this. And then it's just snowballed, right? After that, I sort of started diving more deeply into spirituality, I guess. And I came across so many people talking about this thing called the law of attraction. And I think the biggest part of law of attraction is visualizing what you want and visualizing yourself in that position, doing those things that you want to do, visualizing yourself with the things that you want to have, and feeling the emotion of what you would feel if you'd gotten those things. And so I was like, fuck, like I need to start doing this and really, you know, experiencing those feelings and expecting it to happen, because it's going to happen. Like the law of assumption, law of vibration, all of those things work together in culmination to come up under the umbrella of law of attraction. So I think when I started learning about that more, like law of attraction more, I sort of started seeing the link between vision boards and my real life in a more tangible way. And so yeah, that just basically is what got me onto it and doing it consistently. I also journal quite consistently, and I practice scripting when I'm doing journaling. So that's another form, I think, of doing a vision board, where you're just writing out what you want to happen in the present tense or in the past tense. So like I said before, it would be like, I want to do 10 push-ups today. In the morning, I'll be like, I am going to do 10 push-ups today on my to-do list. And then if I'm journaling and I haven't done it yet, I'll be like, I've done 10 push-ups today. And then it will make me go and do those 10 push-ups. But like with scripting, it's a little bit different. If you want a different video on that, I'm happy to go into it and talk a bit more about how I do scripting. But there's plenty of other people out there with expertise on scripting that aren't me. I'm just a beginner. I am beginner level. So when I'm scripting, I sometimes script up to a month, 6 months, or a year in advance of things that I want to do in the next however time span, right? And I will literally go into every single detail of how I want the situation, the thing, the experience, all of it to turn out, and write it all down, and then it will be perfect, right? So yeah, it all feeds into each other, honestly. It just all feeds into each other, and that's how it works for me. So it sort of brings me to the part 3, which is why and how it works. Sorry, my voice is going, so you'll have to excuse the scraggliness of it. But I think the biggest thing vision boards do is it gets you into a really good, positive mindset of imagination and imagining where you could be. And I think that the first step towards getting to where you want to go is imagining that you can be there. Because if you can't imagine yourself being somewhere, it's going to be that much harder to doing it. Like, I mean, there are things that I do every day where I'm like, I can't believe that I'm doing this, but I have thought about it before in my head, and I have done it. Like I've already done it in my mind. So I'm like, it's not mind-blowing. I'm just like, wow, I can't believe I'm doing it right now. Yeah, I definitely think vision boarding helps with that, where you can visualize yourself doing these amazing things, and you're also like, the reason that I put things that are so, you know, minuscule to some people on it, like I always put drinks with my friends or me buying myself flowers, like, is because it's putting these huge dreams and aspirations that I want to do next to things that I do on a daily basis or on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. Like, it is associating all of the little things that I already do in my life with the big things that I really would like to do. And it means I'm like, oh, I can pair them up and manage to do it all, right? So it helps you visualize, and then obviously links it all together. And then finally, like, I just think it's fun. Whenever I'm in a sad mood, or I'm upset, or I'm just feeling a bit low, I will literally go to my big vision board, or I'll open this book and look at the things. And I've got a page in here of just affirmations where I've written down all positive thoughts and words and all that sort of stuff. And if I'm ever in a bad mood, I will literally just go and read it, and I instantly feel better. It's like, obviously there are things you can't talk yourself out of a bad mood, right? But if I'm just in a stupid bad mood for no reason, it is so like helpful to just get yourself out of it and get into a better mindset and really just like continue on with your day. So I guess that is the power of a vision board. It has the ability to sort of help you visualize what you want to do, where you want to go, all of the things you want to do in life, alongside all the things you're already doing, to make it more real. And I guess that's the first step in going where you want to go, like getting up and doing it and running the race called life. And I think dreaming is one of the biggest positive things that can assist in mental health. Because with like every studying that I've ever done about war and, you know, conflict and suffering, every group of people that has continued has had hope that things will change. And I think it's so small, right? Like making a vision board, and it's so silly, like when you think about it from a very privileged perspective, obviously, but it's sort of like, it gives you hope that you're not going to be in this position forever. You know, I'm not going to be sitting on my bed in my mum's house at 28 forever, I hope. You know, in a couple of months I'll turn 29 and I'll probably still be sitting here. So, you know, it's like, it gives you that extra bit of vavoom to get up and go. And I think that's really important for achieving good mental health. And that's why I love practicing vision boards, and I would recommend it to anybody that hasn't tried it. If you think this would work for you, even if you don't think it'll work for you, just do it. It's fun. Like, who cares? It's just a little bit of a fun project. Like, making my yearly vision board next week. If you would like to see it, I will pop it on my Instagram and my TikTok. So if you'd like to watch that, please go follow me on my other socials, which will be in the info box. If you'd like to come on this little adventure with me, an exploration into my own mental health and physical health and just my health in general, please subscribe to the channel, like this video if you liked it, comment down below if you like vision boarding as well. A video about Pilates, which was the one before this, you guys can go and watch that as well if you're interested in that. Next week, unsure about what I will be popping up next week. It might be a sleep video, it might be something different, I'm not sure yet. But I hope if you celebrate Christmas that you had a beautiful holiday season, and if you're doing New Year's next week, Happy New Year. You do vision boarding as well. How did you get into it? What do you do? What are your processes? I think everyone's process is really personal. That this is just what I do again. And yeah, subscribe to the channel if you love this series, if you want to see a bit more on different ways, you know, that I'm trying to make myself healthier. And you know, you might want to experiment with the things that I'm experimenting with. Please do follow along. I will be taking suggestions, so if you have any suggestions that you've seen people do or try and you've wanted to do it but you haven't been brave enough, just comment down below and I will be doing trials of people's suggestions as well. I've got a few of my own, but I'm happy to take on board any suggestions that people have. If you want to follow me on all my other socials, my TikTok, Tumblr and Instagram, all the info will be down below as well. I've got my Pinterest boards open. The manifestation boards I lock after the season or the month that it's over, so keep that in mind. And yeah, thanks for being here again. Happy New Year. Can't wait to come into 2023 and see what we are all going to do. I will see you all, whoever's watching, next week in the next video. Not sure what I will be doing next week. It might be sleep, it might be something else, but it will be coming to you very soon along with a blog post for this week's video. So thanks for watching again, and I will see you next time.